Imagine a camera that takes the blistering speed of the Canon EOS R1, the mind-bending autofocus of the EOS R5 Mark II, and shrinks it all down into a compact, wildlife-ready APS-C body. For months, the photography world has been holding its breath for the Canon EOS R7 Mark II, a camera that is shaping up to be not just an upgrade, but a complete revolution for the crop sensor market. We are talking about a rumored 39.5 megapixel stacked BSI sensor, 40 frames per second burst shooting, and processing power that could make full-frame snobs seriously reconsider their gear. But just as the hype train reached top speed, a massive bombshell was dropped about its release date that changes absolutely everything. You will want to hear this before you spend a single dollar on your next gear upgrade. Welcome back to Tech Vibe, your ultimate destination for the most authentic tech news, camera leaks, and deep dives. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that subscribe button, because today, we are exposing everything you need to know about the upcoming Canon EOS R7 Mark II. Let us get right into it. Let us kick things off with the absolute beating heart of this upcoming beast, the image sensor. The original Canon EOS R7 was a phenomenal camera, but it had one glaring Achilles heel, which was rolling shutter. If you tried panning fast to track a cheetah in flight or a race car tearing down the track, your backgrounds would skew like jelly. Canon has heard the complaints loud and clear, and the Mark II is heavily rumored to feature a brand new 39.5 megapixel backside illuminated stack sensor. Now, why is this such a massive deal for creators? A stack sensor fundamentally changes how fast the camera can read data. By putting the memory circuitry right on the back of the sensor itself, the readout speed absolutely skyrockets. This means rolling shutter becomes a thing of the past. You get the incredible reach and crop factor of an APS-C sensor, which wildlife and sports photographers absolutely die for, without sacrificing pixel quality or dealing with warped images. Furthermore, the jump to 39.5 megapixels is a strategic masterclass from Canon. It gives you immense cropping power. If you are shooting a bird that is just a bit too far away, you can crop in tight and still have a beautifully sharp, high-resolution file ready for large prints or premium client delivery. This sensor alone could crown the R7 Mark II as the undisputed king of APS-C, leaving competitors from Sony and Fujifilm completely in the dust. But a high-resolution stack sensor is nothing without the brains to process all that data. Enter the DIGIC Accelerator. Industry leaks suggest that Canon is trickling down the dual-processor architecture from their flagship EOS R1 and R5 Mark II straight into the R7 Mark II. Rumors are pointing towards a DIGIC Accelerator light specifically optimized for this exact camera body. This dedicated coprocessor handles the heavy lifting for complex autofocus calculations and heavy data management, while the main DIGIC X processor handles the actual image rendering. The result of this tag-team processing? A staggering 40 frames per second continuous shooting using the electronic shutter, complete with full autofocus and auto-exposure tracking. Just pause and think about that for a second. 40 frames every single second at nearly 40 megapixels. Whether you are capturing the exact millisecond a baseball connects with a bat, or a kingfisher diving into the water, you will never miss the decisive moment again. And yes, it is highly anticipated that Canon will finally include their coveted pre-capture feature. If you are waiting for a bird to take off from a branch, the camera constantly buffers images while you half-press the shutter. The moment you fully press it, it saves the previous half-second of action. It feels like absolute magic, and it is the kind of premium technology that modern hybrid creators demand. Speaking of autofocus, the R7 Mark II is rumored to boast the absolute best autofocus system of any APS-C camera ever made. Thanks to that new DIGIC Accelerator, the camera will utilize next-generation neural network tracking. It will not just recognize eyes, faces, and animals, it will predict subject movement in real time. Action priority modes could analyze sports like soccer or basketball, automatically shifting focus to the player passing the ball. If a referee or another player crosses in front of you, our subject, the camera will aggressively lock onto your original target without getting distracted. For wildlife shooters dealing with messy branches and leaves getting in the way of a subject, this sticky, predictive autofocus is worth the upgrade price alone. Now, let us talk about stabilization, video capabilities, and the physical body design, because Canon is not pulling any punches here either. The in-body image stabilization is rumored to be upgraded to a mind-blowing 8.5 stops of compensation. You could realistically shoot handheld waterfalls at slow shutter speeds without bringing a tripod, or capture buttersmooth panning footage that looks like it was shot on a gimbal. On the video front, with a 39.5 megapixel sensor, the camera has more than enough resolution to shoot oversampled 4K video at 120 frames per second completely uncropped, and there are even credible whispers of raw video capabilities. For hybrid shooters who need high-end photo and cinema quality video in one single package, this is a dream come true. Ergonomically, Canon is supposedly beefing up the body. The original R7 was a bit cramped for people with larger hands, especially when balancing massive telephoto lenses. The Mark II is rumored to adopt a form factor closer to the EOS R6 series, providing a deeper, much more comfortable grip. It will also utilize the new high-capacity LPE6P battery to seamlessly handle the power demands of the stack sensor and dual processors. And finally, say goodbye to the tiny viewfinder. Leaks point to a much higher resolution electronic viewfinder, likely matching the 3.69 million dots of the premium models, giving you a crystal clear window into your shot. We are also expecting dual card slots, likely a combination of CF Express Type B and UHS-2 SD, ensuring you have the reliable write speeds necessary for that intense burst mode. And what is a great camera without great glass? Alongside the R7 Mark II, insider reports suggest Canon is preparing to launch a brand new premium RFS lens, the 15-70mm f/4 ISSTM. This translates to roughly a 24 to 112mm full-frame equivalent. A constant f/4 aperture zoom would be the ultimate run-and-gun travel, portrait, and landscape lens, offering phenomenal sharpness and versatility without the massive weight and bulk of a full-frame lens setup. Now, for the moment you have all been waiting for. The official release date and the massive bombshell that recently shattered the internet. For months, FCC certification documents heavily hinted that the Canon EOS R7 Mark II would be officially announced in May or June of 2026. Tech reviewers were prepping, buyers were saving their cash, and the hype was at an absolute all-time high. But breaking reports from trusted insiders have just thrown a massive wrench into the gears. The latest intelligence suggests that the EOS R7 Mark II might actually be delayed, with Canon potentially pushing their next major APS-C updates entirely into 2027. Why this sudden shift? Some analysts speculate it is due to global supply chain issues quietly returning to the tech world. Others believe Canon is simply prioritizing their massive lineup of full-frame V-series and cinema cameras this year, strictly avoiding a scenario where the R7 Mark II could cannibalize sales of the newly released full-frame models. So, what does this actually mean for you? If the R7 Mark II is genuinely pushed to 2027, the current EOS R7 remains an incredibly powerful value proposition, and retail prices might even drop further. However, Canon is famous for its strict corporate secrecy and occasional strategic misdirection. There is still a very real possibility that Canon drops this APS-C king as a surprise announcement later this year just to catch their competitors completely off guard. We want to hear your exact thoughts down in the comments below. Is a 39.5 megapixel stack sensor enough to keep you loyal to the APS-C format, or is this potential release delay a total deal breaker for your upgrade plans? Drop a comment, let us debate, and I will be down there answering your questions. If you found this deep dive valuable, do not forget to smash that like button, subscribe to Tech Vibe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest tech leaks and premium gear reviews. Keep creating, stay inspired, and we will catch you in the exact same place in the next video.